Well, what's up, you guys? It's your girl G here. It looks like we are back. We are back for another new season of Life After Lockup. Y'all know we go from Love After Lockup to Life After Lockup and then Love During Lockup, and then we start this all over again, okay? So now this past season of Love After Lockup has ended, and we got a few couples that are rolling over. We got Bianca and Daniel. We got, what's the other one? Bianca and Daniel, and Zuri and Troy, and also Kim and Joey. Okay, they're the ones that are rolling over from this last season of Love After Lockup. But we got Teenie and Rob. We got what's the other couple? We got Britney and Kerok back, and boy, let me tell you, Teenie and Rob, we gonna get into you. Rob Mama is the epitome of the mamas that you know you just cannot deal with, you cannot stand. So you might not have handled it necessarily the best, Teenie. We'll get to you, but I can understand why you have gotten to the point of ready to lay hands on his mama. Okay, I ain't condoning, but I get it, okay? But yeah, if you are new to your girl's channel, I appreciate you for tuning in. Drop down in the comments and let me know where you coming from, why you stopped by, where you found your girl from, okay? I love to see where everybody be coming in, just give a little quick hi, hello, okay? Say hello to the congregation, all right? Let us know you are new to the church, all right? Yeah, drop out in the comments. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, all right, y'all? So let's go ahead and get into this new season of Life After Lockup. So we open up, y'all, with my... Bianca. Y'all, Bianca, you know how there's some people where they say in life, there are some people in life the only way they learn is getting hit hard enough. Bianca's one of those. Bianca she needs a good reality check, because the way she is coming for my man, I get it, girl, you would have spent all these ducats, but ain't nobody told you to do that. So after Daniel, they all go out to eat with the mama. They go back to her place that she basically paid for. She paid like 3 or 4 months up in advance. And it's all cute and everything. He walking around, but he's got anxiety, as most inmates do. One of the first things a lot of them talk about is having anxiety, because now you're having to get reacclimated to the world. It's so easy to be like, dang, I can't wait till I get out in the free world. But a lot of them develop social anxiety, and the opposite. And usually, what's congruent with anxiety is depression, which is why a lot of them go right back into bad habits, because it's like that adjustment period is rough for a lot of them. But nonetheless, he's excited. It's feeling like an upgrade from a cot, basically. And so they start kicking it on the couch or whatever, kissing, hugging, all that type of stuff. I love you, I love you, I love you. You love me too, I love you. And y'all know what they want to do. The first thing after you got you, when you an inmate, if you a dude, you want a plate and some, okay, a plate and, okay, so they basically start making out, go in the room. Long story short, do for as long as you can. Everybody knows that tolerance got to get built right back up, okay? So then it's the next morning, the morning after, and he's the one who cooked eggs and bacon and yada yada. And they're basically just talking about like life now, life on the outside. And she's, first of all, Bianca is there saying this man catfished her. I don't know why you thought this man was finna come out like she had her mom pictured a jailbird just all swole. She's like, he catfished me. And she's like, I really thought he was, more muscular than that. Okay. But nonetheless, she starts talking about, like, what if you get denied? She's like, I'm going to be so pissed. Like, for real, I'm going to be so upset. Like, that's not fair. No, Sherlock, it's the judicial system. Life ain't fair. Like, I really feel like Bianca is just literally a speed demon on the roadway to hell. And she going to take Daniel with her if he allow it. Yeah, so she's like, I spent $12,000 talking to you. I spent like $8,000 moving up here. Like, this is a lot, So they sit down, start eating, and they, she's like, thank you for cooking. He's like, well, how's it taste? She's like, it's breakfast. Like, she like condescendingly and subconsciously, I feel like everything he's doing, she's like just chopping him right at the knees. And I'm just kind of like, ugh, like, y'all know how I feel about Bianca. So then she's like, oh, is the coffee ready? He's like, yeah, you can go get you some. And she's like, well, no, you go get it. He was like, I'm eating. Like, no. She's like, are you serious? Like, you're not going to get coffee for me? Like, after everything I've done for you? And the minute she said that, I was like, Even he called him, like, don't do that. She's like, what do you mean? He's like, don't try to manipulate me like that. Like, I love you and I appreciate everything that you've done for me, but don't try to do stuff, throw it in my face to get what you want out of me. Why are you so triggered? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Excuse me? She's the girl that... she is not only a princess, but she is the girl that is manipulative. Really manipulative. If she wants to get her way, she'll throw a fit, she'll pout. And he didn't give in to that. And I'm so glad Daniel seems like a guy that is like steadfast in his recovery and trying to do right, but you can tell he also just kind of feels indebted to her because like she has spent thousands of dollars on him, and even as much as he may want to leave, he ain't gonna because she told him how much she got, which is the dumbest thing you could do is to tell an inmate how much money you got, an ex-addict at that. But you know, he called her out, and I was super glad about that because Bianca, I be so close, y'all. I can't, okay? But let's go ahead and move on. So who's next? Let's go ahead and get into Joey and Kimberly because that's not too much either. Kimberly, she's with Joey's mom, basically picking out stuff at her dad's house because he been stashing all the boys' toys and all that type of stuff like that. And so she's basically talking to the mom about how things are going with Joey. Now something about the mama, she said, you know, why did she say it? She basically was like, yeah, you know, Joey and you, like, y'all should just be really good, you know, staying on track and everything. And she was like, speaking of track, and she pulled out the phone, and in front of the mama tracks Joey. I was like, oh, you too comfortable. And so she's like, is he where he's at? She's like, yeah, he stayed where he's at. And she's like, but I really want to get to a point where I don't want to do that. And she's like, well, yeah, definitely he's going to have to be consistent. And so she basically, before that, was just saying, like, telling her, like, yeah, you know, you're just going to have to be, like, steadfast or, like, committed, essentially. And that mama is making sure that Kimberly stick through for Joey, because mama tired. Mama is not picking up where Kimberly's going to leave off. Like, she want to make sure that if Joey can stay with Kimberly all this time, she gonna do it, even if it ain't good for Kimberly. Because the next step for Joey to go, if he F's up over there at Kim's house, is back with the mama. And she ain't had it, you could tell. But yeah, so they were just talking about like what's next for them. And their lease is coming up. So she's like, I need money, okay? I need money. And so the mama's like, well, sell this at a garage sale, yard sale, whatever, and do what you have to do. And she's talking about, like, got to get a down payment. And she's like, Joey got to get a job. Joey's looking real comfortable living high off the Kimberly hog, okay? He ain't looking like he trying to get work no time soon. A lot of these inmate dudes get comfy with their girl footing the bill. And so Joey, he's in his role of dad. He's taking the kids to school, picking them up, you know, all that type of stuff. And he kind of feels like one of the sons. I think his name is Kenan or something like that. He thinks he's his. Come to find out, before Joey went right back in, him and Kimberly were messing around because she got in a fight with her ex-boyfriend, and there was like a 2-month span where those two was, you know, going back and forth between Joey and the ex-boyfriend. Kimberly was. So when he went back in, that's when Kimberly got pregnant. So it's like, it was easy for her to just go back to ex and kind of like make it seem, like kind of play with the fact that, oh, it could be his, like he the baby daddy essentially. But at the end of the day, Joey's like, the math is math, and so I want to double check. So when he gets back to the house, he talks to Kim and basically is like, you know, I really feel like I want to do a DNA test. And she was like, why? Like, in her mind, Kim is just thinking like, I don't want to. She wants, ignorance is bliss, basically. Ignorance is bliss. She does not want to have to think about it, because once stuff becomes a reality, you know. Also, too, she was like, oh, you're serious about this. Like, oh, you really think he's his? Or they like think he's yours? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, but it's not that easy. He's like, what do you mean? If he's my son, he's my son. Right. But if he your son, he your son. Joey, you have to take care of him, okay? That also means, God forbid anything happen to you and Kim, you on the hook, okay? So you sitting there, it's like Kimberly, I guess, is trying to like read her, like it ain't just, oh, if he's mine, he's mine. That's you got to take care of him. And also, not at that, once the reality becomes like, oh, this kid is really mine, it's going to add another level of pressure, I think, on him that he thinks will motivate him to do better, when in fact it's only going to put him in, because Joey very much, you can tell, wants to be a rule breaker. He wants to do whatever he wants to do. He's like the white version of True on here. Like, he wants to run and do whatever he wants. And so I feel like in his mind, potentially, I think Joey's thinking like, oh, if this kid's mine, like, he's getting his expectations up also as well. Kimberly called it, like, I don't want him to set these expectations of like, oh, he mine, and finds out that he's not, and then now he's got to deal with the fallout of that emotionally. And addicts, the first thing they want to do is not feel their emotions. They go to numb them. So they basically tell the boy, oh, let's test to see if you got COVID. They swab his mouth and everything, and they drop it off at the mailbox. He's talking to the boy like, oh, you think I look like you? And all that type of stuff. Like, oh, we got the same hair and everything like that. And I was like, ooh, well, we gonna see, I guess, in T-minus 2 weeks who the baby daddy. But Kimberly, she's another one that wants to live in the ignorance is bliss trail. And that can only work but so long, especially when you got children in the mix, okay? So y'all drop down in the comments. Y'all think it really is a very likable, like very likable chance that Joey could be, that's just my baby daddy, okay? Could be the baby daddy, all right? So moving on, Britney and Kerok, you guys. So Britney and Kerok are back, and they are moving on up, okay? They are moving from, I think, New York or Maryland all the way down to Houston. Not only are they moving, but his brother and his mama are moving with them. And it was like they were just so excited. They were moving and everything, and they basically got everything prepared from the U-Haul. Already put down first month's rent, like they leases up on this place. So Kerok's like, shoot, he ready to go. And Britney was like in the car, and she just like kind of started tearing up like on the way. They're like, oh my God, it's happening. Like, I really enjoyed watching them be so excited to like get that fresh start, especially as like ex-convicts, because like Britney was saying, she was like, in your mind when you're inside, it's so like, oh, I can't wait to get out. But she's like, this is hard. Like, it said it's hard out here for a pimp, okay? It's hard out here. Like, a lot of inmates, they don't have to worry about working and paying bills and buying groceries, and like that, they forget that aspect of it, And once you realize all the things that are pretty much taken care of for you in prison, you now gotta fend for yourself with. Yes, it's hard in this economy, especially with the way that this country is going. We are literally on a HOV speedway highway lane to hell. Okay, that's the way we going. And especially if Trump win, oh Lord Jesus, I can't even picture that. Like, I don't even want to think about that. If that cracker win. If he win, oh yeah, it's getting to be end of days. But they get to the place, do an oil check, and Kerok gets a call, and it's their probation officer. And he's like, yeah, got some bad news. Access denied. And they were like, what? Wait a minute. What do you mean access denied? He was like, well, Virginia approved it, but Texas didn't. So y'all gonna have to wait. And he was like, wait a minute, that's not possible. Like, we got everything planned. What a nerve of this parole officer to be like, well, you shouldn't have planned that far ahead. He's like, what do you mean? Like, he's like, you shouldn't have planned nothing without the approval. Well, I mean, if y'all approved, and like moving is one of those things that you gotta plan ahead for. Like, so in their mind, like, they were planning ahead. Like, I can't get mad at them for that. But also we've seen it so many times, because Justine and Michael, I forgot about them, we'll get into them in a second. This is the same thing that happened with them before they even made it to Vegas. They had to deal with them first being denied, and basically it prolonged them having to do like another month or whatever. And Kerok, he's heated, and Britney's like, what's going on? What's going on? He's like, sir, what do you mean? I've done everything right. Like, I passed on my urine test. She's passed her test. Like, he is heated. And Brittany's like, give me the phone. You could tell Kerok wants to put everything on his back and handle it. And like, it's not good at all times. Brittany's like, you don't know how to talk to people. Give me the phone. And in that moment, what the parole officer needed to hear, or probation officer needed to hear, was humanity, right? Instead of just, because they're not going to see you as a person. And so Brittany, brought it down a few notches and was like, look, sir, like, we'll be homeless. Like, we've already literally sent a U-Haul. Like, we won't have anywhere to live. Like, we literally just, dropped our lease from this last place. Like, what can we do? And so he's like, look, in the meantime, it'll be 30 days. We'll give you like government assistant housing. And Kerok's like, I'm from here. I know what government assistance look like. And all Brittany's mind, she's saying is, look, if it's livable and we ain't got to spend no money, like, we just going to have to thug it out for the moment. And so I really felt bad for them because, like, in their mind, also, too, when you get out of jail, you're still in jail. Like, they purposely put, parole out there to make sure they wanted to call it, oh, we're just trying to make sure everybody reacclimates to society and doesn't, get back into hard things or get back into things. No, it's just another way for them to be able to bring your ass right back. And so, basically they're kind of stuck in the system right now. And that does really suck because if, like Brittany's saying, she's like, all they're seeing is two ex-convicts together trying to come to Texas. Like, what they trying to do? Like, y'all ain't finna come to Texas and start no trouble down here. And that's not what they're wanting to do. They're genuinely just trying to get a fresh start. And once you have those convict numbers, people tend to only see you as such, and not somebody who actually really wants to do better for yourself. So we'll see how it plays out for them going forward. So speaking of Justine and Michael, the other couple that I was telling y'all about, they finally made it to Las Vegas, the house and everything. That they got all their kids together. I really love that for them. But speaking of kids, y'all, Manhattan, the baby, I love the name Manhattan. The baby that they just had. Well, guess what? Ding dong, baby. There's another one. Okay, she is pregnant again. Stop, Justine. Stop. Like, literally, I just rolled my eyes because too many times on Life After Lockup, we see the same thing of people just be having kids. Like, y'all don't need no more babies. Like, y'all really don't. Not to mention the health issues that come along with it. So, they go into like the ultrasound and everything. They find out it's a boy. They're super excited. They're happy. But then the doctor got to get real with them and be like, look, you need some permanent like birth control. Like, have you done that? Because I'm sure that they mentioned to you the third one, because she has C-sections. After the third one, they were telling her to stop it. Especially after the fourth one, they told her, hey, this ain't good. Now here it is. She's about to do the fifth one. Like, Justine, you're not taking heed to what these doctors are saying. Like, you're on your fifth C-section. That only grows more because that's nothing but scar tissue. And so she telling her, like, your intestines can move, you can bleed out, like, all of this stuff can happen. They were like, especially, nobody expected y'all to get pregnant so fast. Y'all, the baby's 8 months old. Like, she literally popped that baby out 2 months later, got pregnant again, basically. So it's just kind of like, y'all just, what is so hard about pregnant? Like, I'm not getting it. Y'all got enough kids. Like, I'm just not understanding. So now they got 9 in total with this one. And so the doctor's like, well, do you have a will? And she's like, well, no. She's like, don't nobody like to think about it, but if there's anything that is certain, it is death. Unfortunately, all of us got a birth date and an end date, and that's all of it. All of us are guaranteed that much. So she's like, you're gonna need a will because you might want things done that he might not want, in a way. Like, and for instance, that's exactly what's gonna happen. She's like, I don't wanna, I don't want him to try to save me or be on life support or nothing like that. Like, I don't want that. And she's like, I feel like he would do that. And he was like, yeah, like in his mind, he's not trying to picture himself Obviously, a single man taking care of 9 kids by himself, ain't nobody trying to think about that at all. So, she needs to put it down on paper what she wants out of the situation. God forbid anything bad happen. But I'm just like, you heard the doctor say stop, right? Like, that's why I'm confused after the third one. And then you went and did a fourth one and did this. Like, I'm just not understanding what's not clicking here. Like, you keep putting yourself at risk for babies that y'all don't need. Michael already said it. Y'all spent way too much on that goddamn house. The budget, okay? Michael ain't, he could be a good rapper, but he still got to work daytime at a warehouse. Like, the budget is not fitting babies. And then if you already know you're financially strapped, adding another baby to that is just so freaking unrealistic. Like, that agitates the hell out of me. But hopefully everything goes good for Justine going forward. They're talking about everything in the waiting room, and she's just like telling him, like, look, the minute I became a mother, I told myself, like, it's always going to be kids first. So if anything happens, follow the baby. And he's sitting there kind of tearing up, and she's like, that's like, I'm a mother first. But in my mind, thinking about that, what about your other kids? Like, and being a mother first, like, what about them? What about the living kids that you had? But in her mind, she's thinking, like, I can't picture my life without this baby. You're not going to want that version of me, like, if I lose him. And yeah, like, there is going to be a lot of emotional turmoil that's going on with you, Justine. And, like, it's not going to be pretty, but it will pass. That's the thing. Like, it will pass. So to make such a permanent decision off of something that, like, somebody put that, like, to me, was like, oh, if you had to pick between the baby and the mother, who are you picking? And people like, oh, pick the baby. And somebody dropped in the comments, like, I forgot what I was doing, or like what, if it was Twitter or Instagram, and the person was like, why does everybody keep picking the baby when you could always have another baby? You can't have another you. Like, and I'm like, you know what? You sure right. Like, you can't always make another baby, but once you out, you out. And then not to mention all the people that you leave behind. Like, to me, I just, like, I get it, but I don't. But y'all done had enough babies. After this, one, you get your tubes tied, or he get a vasectomy. Either one, y'all need to figure it out. So, moving on, let's go ahead and get into who else is on this season. Kerok, Joey and Kim, Bianca and Daniel did them. Justine and Michael did them. Zeruiah and Troy, y'all. So, Zeruiah and Troy starting the morning off beefing already. She's like, you got my bras everywhere in a box. I need my bras, because we saw her chesticles out last season when she was screaming, get out of here, boy. When I tell you, Zeruiah was on one. And she just was all tits out screaming at Troy last season on Love After Lockup. But they're getting ready to go into basically the nonprofit. And she worked for one while he was locked up. And so they basically started a nonprofit on his behalf. It's called Project Heal. So they're getting ready or whatever. And they do a confessional with the sister. And the sister was outside basically on the porch talking about, she's like, should I be feeling bad for Troy? Like, I sometimes be looking at him, he just be looking like a lost puppy dog. Like, she's like, I feel bad for him, because with Zeruiah be in her moods, and we've obviously seen what Zeruiah is like. Zeruiah be wearing that man at, okay? Be wearing him at. And I do feel bad, because you can tell he's a non-confrontational person. So it's like, to be the yin and yang to that, I'd be exhausted getting screamed and cussed at all the time unnecessarily. So they end up going to the play. She introduces Troy to the whole team and everything. Of course, the team is going to be, skeptical, like he's coming out and they don't know how he's going to operate. But Troy did say something that's true, sure enough, in the essence of, even though this is legal, it ain't that much different from illegal activities, truth be told. He's like, when you on the streets, you got people who run the calls, you got people who run the supply, you got people who run, who to pick up. Like, it's an order of operations just as the same, it's all about delegation at the end of the day. So now he's just doing it legally. You know, that's how you take like the street mindset and turn it into something for you. As they say, like, oh, book smart versus street smart. And if you can do street smart and just kind of weave it in and meld it, you know, with the book smarts and operation and everything, there's so many people you've seen who come from the streets and, you know, make it big or blow up and turn into something else because they take what they have and assimilate that. Because at the end of the day, we do all know these corporations and the police officers and the government ain't nothing but big ass gangs anyways. So it's not that different. So Troy's just in there talking, you know, with everybody, super excited. And then Zuri want to sit there talking about, oh, I do gotta tell Troy something. And so when they get back to the crib, she in there with her blue man face mask on, polo Zeruiah, polo tink tink. Well, at least it was good to see that she took that ponytail. And I guess she got tired of everybody wearing her out on Twitter. Because, girl, that ponytail was just like on the top of your head like a little pineapple. I don't know what was going on. But she's telling Troy, like, hey, I want to show you something. Read the text message. So she gives him the phone. And he's like reading like, oh, okay, you are 2 months behind and you will be evicted. He's like, wait a minute, what? Like, behind? So come to find out, y'all, they are 2 months behind on building rent and also still owe like their home rent and everything like that. Zuri, when he was locked up, basically was handling everything. It felt like, you know, oh, I got it. And now here it is. She's like, I'm now bringing the attention to you now that basically we at the end of the road. She basically was like held up to the last minute. Now it's dire needs, and now you got to tell him. And so he feels some type of way. He's like, wait a minute, like this is something you bitch should have told me. Like, and I agree with him. Like, this is something where y'all, the sooner he knew, the better. But now he's pissed off, and he's like, here go triggering me because at the end of the day, like, Zuri, you have cheated on him. That's trust issues, right? That's secretive stuff. So now he's feeling like, here you go, keeping secrets, doing stuff behind me again. And so he's mad, and you could tell Troy's thing is, let me take a walk, I'll be back. But that can't always be the solution of you running away. But he runs off, did what he did last season, go for a walk. And she like, what you doing? Like, what he think walking outside in an all black outfit and a pink do-rag gonna do? I said, God dang, Zuri. What you think about going out there with an ankle monitor on? You just screaming to get in trouble again. You just scream convict walking down the street. And she's like, everybody want to say, oh, everybody says they want the truth, but when you tell them the truth, they can't handle it. They get triggered. Zuri, this is what we not finna do. A lot of people who use that, oh, people want the truth, but they really can't handle it. No, it's not that people can't handle it. You ain't telling the truth because you don't want the response of what said truth was. It's not that people can't handle it. It's just that they'll be valid in their reaction and you don't want to deal with it. Zuri, he's not triggered. He has every right to be pissed off and upset about the fact that you didn't tell him this. Like, it's not that, oh, he can't handle the truth. No. That's what niggas say that when they don't want to admit to a girl that they want an open relationship. Instead, they want to lie about being monogamous. So, well, she can't handle the truth, so I'm going to just cheat instead. Like, that's what that sound like. So now they're in a situation where they got to figure out funding because now they got to figure out rent for not only their place, but the foundation place. And it's just kind of like, in Troy's mind, he's like, shoot, this is a tough part about being out of jail because it's like I could start back up in the game, make this quick little, 7, 8, 10 thou wow and get this paid off real quick. But it's like you don't want to do that because that always it's a risk you go back to jail. So it's just like I felt bad for Troy, I really did, and I do see good in Troy, and I think Zuri's gonna push that man to his limits, okay? Because the way that the sister was looking, like it looked like it's scary spice over there in that house, okay? The sister said Troy just be looking like a little sad puppy. So last but not least, y'all, we have Teenie and Rob. First things first, y'all, Rob, okay, boots, all right? fine boots. Rob is super cute. And so him and Teenie, y'all know she been riding with Rob. He been in there like 17 years. And it's just good. They're moving and everything. And you can tell that the son is obsessed with Rob. The daughter, she was like, he came home and everything just kind of like blended in easily. It was like, he fit here. And so now they installing cameras. Y'all know he installed his cameras. Now they're not for communication, but for security purposes. But they're getting ready to go to his welcome home party. So they go over there. Teenie's, prepped everything. And they start calling people like, hey, where you at? Because y'all supposed to be at 1:30. It's 2:10. So she called her sister first. And then she's like, hey, what you doing? She's like, oh, I'm taking my daughter to gymnastics. So she's like, well, dang, so you're not coming to the party? Oh, well, yeah, I had an allergic reaction. I can't really be out in the sun looking at lights like that. Well, okay then. Like, you could have gave somebody a heads up. So then Rob called his boy. And he's like, man, no, I'm still effed up. Like, and so it was just like, here we go again. Nobody shows up for me besides Teenie and the kids. Like, Rob, he's like, man, I'm used to it. But you can tell, like, it does aggravate him because, like, you do set those expectations for your own family to show up for you. And then when they don't, you gonna feel some type of way. Especially, it's his welcome back, like, welcome home party. Of all things y'all missed the man's welcome home party. I would feel some type of way, too. So then Teenie's friends show up per usual. Teenie's side, her mama shows up and everything, and they do it. The kids made a cake for him, and they like smashing in his face. And the boy was standing up there with Rob, like on top of the like the what's that thing called, like on the rooftop, and they were like, king of the world. It was such a cute little moment. You could tell that boy is obsessed with Rob. And so finally, the mama comes. And Teenie, she's like, yeah, we good for right now. For right now. And so the mama comes in and sits down, says hi to Rob, to Teenie's mom. And, Teenie's mom went over to the bar with her and was just like, yeah, I wanted to show up just like I meet his family too. And, it's good that y'all are here, but I can see, as a mama, I can see the disappointment in his eyes. And you could tell, like, I can imagine for 17 years you went in there as a child as well too. Like, you come out and then, like, you still ain't get no family support. And Teenie's like, I went to that man during all them years and his family came with me one time. So, like, yeah, I would feel some type of way. So Rob's mom finally comes in and, gives Teenie a hug, Rob a hug. Finally says hi to Teenie's mama. But mama sat down and got right to the shits, all right? She's like, look, I really feel some type of way, you when you got out, you just left us, your family, like you all the way down here and stuff like that. And he was like, look, mama, like, I don't think you understand what it's like for me mentally. Like, I'm getting out of prison, like, that's an adjustment. And then, like, I have a family now. He's like, I'm a grown man, like, I got responsibilities. But in Rob's mom's mind, you could tell for her, because she said specifically, like, oh, like, you down here taking care of another family. Well, yeah, because he's got a woman and kids. Like, he has taken on those kids as his own. So in her mind, she's probably thinking like, them shit, like, they ain't even your motherfucking kids. Like, I'm your mama, and I can't. And that's what she brought up to Teenie last season, when she was like, oh, the ex was taking care of her. Like, oh, she always made sure I was good. First of all, mama, like, I get it. You grown though, so you can't just be dependent on all of Rob's girlfriends to be taking care of you. Okay? And then not to mention Rob, because she said Rob was like sliding her some ducats every now and again. But he's now got a family, one. And two, you really have some nerve to sit there and be like, oh, when Teenie ain't gonna be there, I'll be there. Ma'am, you didn't show up for him while he was locked up. So for you to throw that out there like, oh, when she ain't gonna be there, I'm gonna be there. So now Teenie's like, well, wait a minute, why wouldn't I be there? And so she's like, I'm just saying. No, she clocked the T. She clocked exactly what you were trying to do. Why would I be there, mama? And so she's like, girl, like, it was just a comment. Like, I'm just saying, hypothetically, she's already got it on her mind that Teenie ain't gonna be in the picture. So why you even, like, putting all your energy, money, and funds into this anyways? And it's just kind of like that woman has showed you that she has stood by Rob for a long time. And yet, here you are still taking little jabs at her. So she finally gets up and was like, you know what, let me go get a drink. And she's like, yeah, go on, bye. And so Teenie turned around like, what is your problem with me? Mama stood up, I ain't got no problem with you. I want my motherfucking son back. And so Teenie, when I tell you, all of a sudden you just hear glasses falling, everything like that. Rob talking about stop. Boy, Mom and Teenie was swinging on each other. Teenie, you could tell was already pissed off on Rob's behalf, feeling like I do this for this man all the time, especially trying to incorporate his family, and continuously like she was pissed on his behalf. And then the mama, you come in late and starting shit with me, I ain't got time for it, mama. Like, what is your problem with me? But it's not even really about Teenie. You really pissed off at your son, and sure, you miss your son, but mama, you aren't acknowledging the ways in which you didn't show up for him and why he probably is distant with you. How about you ask those questions? How come you ask questions of why he doesn't want to come back? Y'all have failed showing up for him. So he's going to be there for the people who have. So yeah, you guys, that's when the episode ended, with Teenie and the mama being real WWE style. Rob fall out in the glass like, shoot, boy, that bill finna be high, okay? That restaurant finna bill y'all real quick for all the endangerment that y'all caused everybody and all the broken glassware y'all did, okay? But y'all jump in the comments. Tell me what you feel about this new season of Life After Lockup. What y'all think is going to happen this season. How do you guys feel about Teenie and Rob and the mama? Do you feel like the mama has a right to be upset at Teenie and Rob? When it comes to Joey and Kimberly, do you guys feel like Kimberly knows that it could be Joey's more than she's allowed? I feel like Kimberly might know it's Joey's, but don't want it to be his because he's an addict. Because she's like, how do I tell do I tell my son that? Like, I don't think she wants the son to have to deal with the disappointment of an addict's father. So I think that's why she's okay living in that ignorance is bliss kind of state. But I think that's it, you guys. Yeah. I will talk to you guys later. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I will catch y'all hoes